Kirk Duffel here with Mastermind, the market, your real estate stats update for the Twin Cities area. Well, welcome to the new, or wait, maybe I should say old normal. What am I talking about here? Well, we've seen a lot of changes in our market recently with interest rates, with days on market picking up, inventory, and decided to have a meeting earlier this week with some of the other owners of the brokerage talking about some of the changes that we're seeing and what does this all mean? Well, it basically, we talked about it, and we're seeing a normalization in our marketplace. So let's dive into the data and take a look. All right, so we're going to start out by looking at some InfoSparks data here, and we have days on market. We can look at 2017, goes from about 20 days at peak speed to 45 in the wintertime. 2018, it gets to 16, 44 in the wintertime. 2019, 17, 43 in the wintertime. Of course, then we start getting into the COVID period where things started to get wacky. So we are seeing days on market starting to increase. That data has not come out here on InfoSparks yet, but when I hand run that, we can see that the days on market are picking up. And over the course of the last few weeks, it's moved up by 4 or 5 days. And a lot of that is due to the slowing marketplace. Month supply as well. Looking at that, we can see 17 gets up to 2.7, 2.7, 2.7, right? That's the normal. And now we see our month supply on the rise, and for the first time in years, we are seeing our inventory surpassing the previous year's inventory. Another thing that we know is helping show normalization is percentage of list price received, right? That 17 again gets up to 100 each kind of spring summer market. The last 2 years it's been crazy though, right? Home selling for way over asking price, but we're seeing that starting to change. So this all comes to our market meter, right? Where are we now on the market meter? Well, we're at a 7, but a 7 still is in a seller's market range, a normal seller's market range. So looking at our market meter, we spent all that time here in 2021, spring of 2022, in this extreme seller's market. And now we're sitting there at a 7, right? Which is in a standard seller's market range, a normal seller's market. So, and this is what we saw back in 2018. 2019. So that is what we are seeing, 7. This is telling us we're coming into more normal times out there. So, the elephant in the room, interest rates. Chat about that a bit here. So interest rates on the short term have started to kind of level out a little bit, not the extreme jump that we saw over the previous week. Actually, the more recent data, as of today, rates, the last couple days, rates have actually started to drop back a bit. So I think, as long as this trend holds, maybe by next week's video, we'll see that those rates have fallen back from their peak here. So this is with a fees. I see they dropped their fee again. Now it's back down to a 0.8 in fees. So that's buying the interest rate down. Buying that rate down gets you to a 5.81 from our resident mortgage geek bill without a buy down. And these numbers are a couple days old, but 30-year mortgage at a 5.875, no points. 15-year mortgage at 5.125, again, no points. 7-1 ARM, 4.875, and a 10-1 ARM at 5%. But you may want to check your lender as of today. Based on this data here, those rates might actually be down a little bit. So what does this all mean? Well, going back to a couple of videos ago, if these rates kind of level out or go down, we're going to see that what we call the slowdown. But those big jumps like we saw last week could slow the market down a lot faster unless it recovers from those big changes there. So that's the one thing to keep a big eye on. I'm going to circle back to the rates real quick and talk about long-term rate history. you know, rates where they are now, yes, they are high in comparison to the last 10 years or so. But when we look at the history of interest rates, it's not crazy. And even, you know, the 5% range, we've seen that in the last 5 years. So, you know, some of the more recent changes, it's been a little while since we've seen that, maybe going back into the 2006-7 range, since it's been into the 5.5+ range. But if we see those changes continue coming back down again, you know, we're going to fall back more into what we've seen in more recent history. However, that said, we're not going to get back to the 2.5 anytime soon. We're getting into, again, a more normal rate range. So hopefully you found this information valuable. Again, we're sitting at a 7, still a seller's market range out there. It's not the craziness, though, that we've seen. We're starting to see a higher inventory of homes. And, you know, for those who have been patient, you're getting well rewarded for that for home buyers. And for sellers, keep in mind, we should be in a decent market here for the next 30, 60 days before we start to see the bigger slowdowns that we normally do. And again, that's as long as we don't see any major rate changes. All right, hope you have a great week. Click on that subscribe button. And if you want to geek out more, check out TwinCitiesRealEstateShow.com or go CW23 Saturday mornings at 6:30. And we dive much deeper into all of these fun topics. Take care.